Hey there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this is a new episode of the Teacher Summer series. If you want to make sure to watch the full playlist, I'll link it below. But today we're talking about creating a summer routine. So I'm going to show you my step-by-step process of doing this. Have at it and do it the exact same way, or just take what works for you and do whatever it is that you think will work well for creating a routine over these next few months that will help you do what you want to do, but also have plenty of me time, relaxation time, right? Self-care time as well. So the first thing that I do is I note down what my goals are for the summer. Now, it's really important not to have like, here are my 10 goals for the summer, because the chances of them all happening are slim to none, right? But do kind of just brainstorm, what do you think you really need to accomplish or really want to accomplish over the next few months? And just brainstorm that out for a few minutes or plenty of time, half an hour, right? Whatever it takes for you to kind of get a sense of what it is that you want to do or you need to do this summer. Okay, so that's just step one. What are your goals? After you have all these goals listed out, next thing you want to do is categorize them. So in my case, I organize them versus important versus bonus, right? Or maybe needs to happen versus wants to happen. Or whatever it is, kind of like this difference of like, I have a deadline that's very strict, it has to happen, right? Versus I would love to be able to do this over the summer. So that's kind of two categories I have here in a sense of, okay, so here's my list of brainstorming ideas. This one goes over important. This goes over as bonus. This one's important. This one's a bonus, and so on and so forth, right? So that's my next step in this process. And after that, when you have your two columns, then you want to prioritize both of them. Okay, so not together, but okay, so here are my 4 things that need to happen this summer. In the scheme of things, this one needs to happen, maybe chronology, right? This one needs to happen in May, these two need to happen by the end of June, this one needs to happen by July 30th, right? And then you have in the bonus or the wants one, prioritize as well. I would really, really want this to happen this summer versus this one, I want it to happen, but it's not as important as these 3 that I have on this list, right? So individually prioritize them in the level of importance to you as far as needs to happen versus it's something I really want, right? And so once you have that, then you want to go ahead and start eliminating the ones that are really, yes, you want them, but they were 4th on your list, right? And I would cut as much as you can, because again, you're going to have all these goals. It's only a few months, right? Summer's not that long. It flies by really fast. So I think you can really look at your list. Start by looking at the ones that are bonuses, right? Your wants, okay? I think if you have a long, important deadline list, then you should only have 1 want on your list. Because if you need to do 4 things that have to happen, that's already a lot, right? Even 3 is a lot, okay? And so I would really minimize, okay, these are all my wants, here's my top one. This is what I'm gonna keep on my list. Everything else, if I accomplish that want, well, this is the wait list, right? What's beneath it goes on my wait list. And then you're important, you're gonna wanna look at this too, right? So is it something that has to be you? Is there a way of delegating? You might wanna consider if it's worth it to delegate, right? Or it might be, well, I can't delegate this to someone else, delegate this to someone else. But maybe you no longer passionate on the project, you don't have the time to give to it, even though you said you did originally, right? Things happen. You want to consider, do I want to back out? Right? Can I back out? Is that the right path to take on this one? So I can focus on the other ones that I do think are important, that are necessary, that I love, that I want to make sure that I do. So there can be times where you can't really take anything out of the important category, but consider, are there options for taking things out? And if so, is that the right path for you? Okay, so that's the really important step here in your process, is to really decrease the amount of goals you have over the summer, and you can put some on a wait list, right? If you accomplish 1 goal, then you can go ahead and add 1 if you want to, or not, right? You can wait till all of them are accomplished from your first list and then go to your wait list. But just something to keep in mind, prioritize, but then also eliminate as much as you can. Now, these have all been about goal setting. What about the routine? Well, first you need to know your goals, and now you can start creating the actual routine, right? Because you know what you need to accomplish. And so you might decide, next, my recommendation is figuring out what style of week or what style of day works for you for your routine, okay? So what I mean by that is if you're like a weekly person, that's how you really break up your time, then you consider, okay, well, do I want to work on my goals 3 days a week, every day of a week, twice a week, whatever the case may be, right? And so once you know that, you might say, you know what, I want to work on my academic goals, right, on Monday and Tuesday, and my health goals on Wednesday through Friday, right? And I have a fun goal that I want to work on over the weekend, or whatever, right? So kind of figure out what style do you want to do your routine in consideration of your goals, okay? So if one goal is finishing this chapter, then you want to decide, okay, where does finishing the chapter fit into my routine style? I think it would work best to work on it 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. Or I think for my routine creation, it'd be good to have 1 day of the week where the majority of my routine is just working on this chapter. And that day is going to be Monday, right? If one of your major goals is to declutter your bedroom, like mine is, again, what's the style? I want to make sure I work on this 30 minutes every single day. I want to work on it for 30 minutes every other day. I want to work on it and have Friday be a major decluttering day. So figuring out there how your routine is going to function. Do you want to do small things for your goals on a daily or every other day kind of routine? Or do you want your routines to change by the day? Mondays themed academic work, Tuesdays themed personal work, Wednesdays academic work, and so on. And so at that point, now you're starting to build that routine, right? You're trying to get a sense of, okay, here's what my mornings will be like, here are what my afternoons will be like, my evenings, or how certain days will be like. Get a sense of what style of week works for you, okay? Now, potentially, you don't want to actually add in specific things on a daily basis. You might say, on a weekly basis, I want to accomplish these things. So my routine is every week I do these 4 things. The day doesn't matter, they just have to happen at some point. Maybe that works best for you, right? So really get a sense of what you can experiment with first with your routine in connection to your goals. Now, of course, your whole day, every single day, right, for the whole summer is not going to be attached to your goals for the summer. There's going to be hopefully, plenty of time to just relax, to do things that you enjoy, right? Your hobbies, spending time with friends and family, your exercise, etc., etc. So that's the next thing to add to your routine. So I know that I designated certain days for certain goals. On the other days is just going to be me time. And how does that routine look for the day? Do you journal in the morning? Do you do exercise in the morning before breakfast or right after breakfast? Do you do certain things with your friends at 5 p.m., right? So get a sense of, okay, I have my routine in consideration with my goals. Now let's consider my routine with other healthy or fun, relaxing things that I want to do on a daily or weekly basis. And start filling that in as well into this routine that you are designing. Now the next step is to actually schedule what I consider to be the first routine experiment, right? Because you're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work as you go along, right? So get a sense of, okay, next week, right, or for the rest of this week, wherever it is that you're watching this video, here's going to be my plan for these days, right? And try to get as much detail as you can so you can really get a sense of what you want to accomplish on that week, and so you can get a sense of, all right, what works or what didn't work at the end of the week. Okay, so experiment 1, here's what my plans are for a daily basis or for a weekly basis, and now let's go ahead and get started. And you do that experiment for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then my next part of this process is go ahead and reflect on the experience, right? Assess how it went. So you can see, okay, I originally said that I wanted to do academic work on Mondays and Tuesdays. It turned out Monday, I couldn't get into it, right? I only did fun stuff and exercise stuff and decluttering my bedroom, but Tuesday was fine. I had no trouble doing my academic work on Tuesday, and actually got some done on Thursday as well, right? So then maybe experiment 2, I'm going to try doing academic work Tuesdays and Thursdays, similar to my own teaching schedule during the academic year. Maybe I'm just used to that and that works best for me, right? Looking at my experiment number 1, I exercise 3 times a week as I had planned. Great, I'm going to keep that in my schedule just how it was, okay? Or maybe I work out 3 times a week, but I had planned to do it in the morning and I always did it in the evening. Do you want to keep it in the morning for experiment 2? Or you just want to say, you know what, if it worked in the evening, might as well keep that going that way, right? So really reflect, look back on the process of the week or 2 and figure out what do you want to change in your routine. And then experiment 2 begins. And so you can just iterate this process until you find your ideal routine that really works for you. Now, of course, once you accomplish a goal, the routine will also change. Okay, I've submitted this chapter for submission. It's done for now. How am I going to take up that space now? Is it just more fun time, me time, relaxing time? Or do I want to add more time to a certain goal using these spaces? Okay, so there's always this element of change, of fluidity, that I think is really key so you don't get really static and really kind of plateau in your routine creation. So that's my approach. If you have your own tips, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to learn from you as well, and I'm sure others would too. If you have your own suggestions for things to add to routine, let me know that too. But this is what I'm currently doing, trying to get into a good pattern here in the summer. Eventually I'll probably make a blog post about what I decided on for my routine, or maybe even just a post here on the community tab. So again, my series will continue, the Teacher Summer series, in next week. So if you don't want to miss out on that, go ahead and subscribe below and click like if you found this video helpful.